Bud Selig, and to all fans of the Milwaukee Brewers. Watching the Brewers from the owner's seat, Selig acknowledges, was both exhilarating and agonizing. Like so many rabid fans, Bud is superstitious. When the game was tight in the late innings, he followed a 7-minute rule. He would leave his seat and pace the hallway, hiding behind a girder. There he could figure out what was happening by the cheers or groans. For some reason, he found it less painful to hear what was happening than to actually watch the action. Unless, of course, the cheers rose in volume, and then he could race back to his seat. When Bud Selig was selected by his fellow owners as acting commissioner and then baseball commissioner, a post he would hold for 22 years, the game he loved was in drastic jeopardy. He recognized, he writes, that a sport resistant to change had to change if it was going to survive, much less thrive. The gap between the big and small market clubs was widening at an alarming rate. The same few teams made it to the playoffs year after year, dampening the hopes and attendance of fans in dozens of other cities. In these same troubled years, an unprecedented, literally unbelievable number of home runs were being hit. Something more than new workout equipment, smaller ballparks, or dilution of pitching talent because of an expanded number of teams was at play here. This memoir takes us through each of these significant struggles with vivid detail that enlivens the main characters involved, including the emotional, combustible Yankee owner George Steinbrenner, the L.A. Dodgers' Walter O'Malley, forever a despised figure in Brooklyn, and in Selig's opinion, a leader more concerned with himself and the fortunes of his own team than the good of the game. The Union's bleeping Marvin Miller, who Selig believes, despite the immense power he wielded in his fights with the owners, belongs in the Hall of Fame, and Henry Aaron, a giant on and off the field, and Selig's close friend for 60 years. Indeed, the first chapter recounts the agony Bud experienced when Barry Bonds, a suspected steroids user, was closing in on Hank Aaron's career home run title of 755 homers. As commissioner, he felt obligated to hopscotch around the country to witness the moment when Bonds hit the homer that would make history, a contaminated milestone, given the widespread belief that Bonds, among many other players, was using performance-enhancing drugs. The watershed process of dealing with steroids in baseball was long and torturous. For years, the Players' Union adamantly refused to allow drug testing, even as the integrity of a game built upon records and statistics was put into question. After much foot-dragging, a series of events finally led to slow progress. A dramatic home run race between Mark McGwire and Sammy Sosa captured the attention of the nation, but stoked fresh questions about the sudden increase in their prodigious number of home runs. A few years afterward, players and owners agreed to an anonymous drug testing program, and when the tests were conducted, between 5 and 7% of the players tested positive. Not long after, 4 people associated with the game were charged in a 42-count federal indictment of running a steroid distribution ring that provided performance-enhancing drugs to dozens of athletes. Contentious congressional hearings on steroid use commenced. Selig persuaded former Senate Majority Leader George Mitchell to conduct an investigation. 2 years in the making, the Mitchell report gained access to steroid suppliers and accused nearly 100 players of using steroids. Polls showed that, despite the union's refusal, 79% of the players wanted to be tested. Finally, a testing program with harsh punishments for transgressions was put in place. Though it came too late to preserve the record of the great Henry Aaron, baseball's testing program soon became the strongest in any major American sport. Progress in creating competitive balance was hamstrung from the start by the union's flat refusal to consider a salary cap similar to that in the NFL or the NHL. This was the issue surrounding the longest strike in baseball history and the cancellation of the 1994 World Series. Attendance and enthusiasm for the game dropped dramatically. Selig knew that major change had to take place. When he first introduced the idea that big market